You're watching The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my show live here on YouTube on Monday, the 6th of May, 2024. And I'm happy to announce that we've got a great person on the show tonight who is coming back over to the UK shortly. And it's going to be fantastic to welcome him back to the UK. And of course, this guy is a American rock and soul artist called Darnell Cole. I hope I pronounced that correctly. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, it's good to have you. I'm liking your style which you bring to the show today. I like it.
Thanks, man. Well, it's an interview. You know, it's hanging out and it's showcasing both your podcast, your network, and me to the world. So you gotta spice it up. You know, gotta dress up. It's an occasion.
I like it, and very stylish. I like it, and not many people come stylish to the show. So it's good to see you doing it in a good fashion way as well, in a trendy way.
Always got to do it, man. Got to do it.
Exactly. And of course, if you're not watching this on YouTube and you don't know what I'm on about, but you should go to youtube.com/Edward Fowler to see what I'm on about with Darnell Cole's stylish, and he's in the trend.
Gotta be, you know. I think when I'm doing, especially with people like from England, man, you guys got some fashion taste. You know, especially when you look at the rock stars of old, man, like that stuff. You know, so I gotta represent.
You do. And, it's going to be great to see you back over here, which we'll get into in a few moments or so. But I want to talk to you firstly about, about your career so far. How is 2024 going for you?
It's good. I'm very excited, Let's see. We have a new album. I have a new album coming out so it'll be available online everywhere June 30th. Is the day that it drops. We have a new single, the lead single from that album. It's going to be Life on the Run. That's going to drop on the 10th, so Friday. So for everybody listening, tuning in, Friday, new single drops, so make sure you get it. Got the tour going on, got some really cool festival dates. We're going to be at the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
On the Kashmir Cafe stage. We're going to be on the Made of Stone Festival as well over in Maidstone. That one's gonna be fun. We're on one of the other stages there, and just some really cool venues, man. I'm really excited. We got Hartlepool Steelies. We're gonna be at Percy's in Little Old Whitchurch. Got the Flying Circus, Black Prince. I should have the thing out so I can look at all of it. I just don't. But offhand, those are some of the ones that it's gonna be a good tour. It's gonna be a good tour.
Yeah, no, I like it. And you mentioned about being able to be at some great festivals, including the Isle of Wight. I never knew they had a festival until last year when I saw it on Sky Arts, for instance, and I thought it was a great concert. So many great acts were there. So I'm hoping that you will have a fantastic time performing at the Isle of Wight and hopefully even capture some new fans as well.
That's the plan. That's the goal. I think we will. England treats me very well. The UK in general, anywhere overseas, I do phenomenal. I do much better over there. I do okay in the US. I got some hometown listeners and it's cool, but there's a culture of art and a respect for the arts when you go across the pond that just isn't captured here yet. That's just not the same. And it's something simple. I always tell people, they say, what's the difference between UK and the US audiences? And I go, well, in the US, if someone doesn't know you, if you come in and you're a band and they don't know you, they're just gonna be like, oh, they're probably crap, and they're gonna leave. That's it.
Yeah.
In the UK, they'll go, mate, they're probably rubbish, but we'll give it a pint. And that little difference makes a difference, man. A pint and a couple songs, if it's on the artist, then either you win them over or you don't. And I think we tend to do pretty well for people who give Darnell Cole and the Vibe a chance.
Good. And I feel like as well, because a bit like Tina Turner, she did very well over there compared to some
Oh
parts of the
yeah.
US and whatnot. So I feel like there's also a transition in the way for you that you're doing really well in this part of the world, and maybe as well over here, maybe not as well in the US type thing. So it's good to see that, and it only can go skyrocketing from there because like Tina Turner was able to do, she was able to take that popularity over here, and she was able to eventually take all over America. So I'm sure that'll be the
Hendrix
same
as
for you.
well, and that was kind of the thing that really drove me over there in the first place. Back in 2018, I was with my old band Porcelain Hill. And we were thinking of the sound that we had and what it was similar to. And Hendrix is something that people compare me to often. And I'm not saying that to be I'm not saying that to be any sort of way or whatever. It's just that's a comparison that gets made. And for us, we were like, well, where was that music big? Where was that accepted? And it was in the UK. So
Yeah,
we were like, got to make the jump. And ever since, it's just been great.
yeah, no, absolutely. And when you come back over here, this year, for
Ooh,
instance, what is your top priorities when you're not performing? What's be your top priorities?
that is an interesting one. Top priority when I'm back overseas, when not performing. Um, I would say hanging out with the people, just connecting with the people that are out there. Honestly, like I've made so many friends, and honestly, it feels like family in the UK. Especially, shout out to the people at the Duck and Drake, another stop in Leeds. Leeds feels like a hometown at this point. Um, and it's so nice to just really connect with them and really immerse yourself in the surroundings and in the culture of where I'm at. Yeah.
Good, good. And I'm glad you're making a lot of friends as well here in the UK, and able to, because when you've played come over the first time or so, it's a bit like homesick, I guess, because even though you're on the road, you're in a completely different country, don't really know anybody, and you're just going place to place. So it's good that you're able to make some connections and get some good, interesting relationships flowing. So when you come back again, you can go back to the same places, and you can leave off from when you last were there, can't you?
Well, and not only that, the other thing is too is it helps spread the word. A lot of people have heard of me from word of mouth. So for all my vibration nation, as I call it, all the people who enjoy the music, my vibration nation, I appreciate each and every one of you because it's in like it's so valuable the how much the word and the praise or the recommendation of someone goes to another. People think, oh, how can I help these bands? I don't have a ton of money, I can't host them, I can't do these things, and that's all fine, but it's one of those things where even just sharing, right? If you share a song, if you tell somebody about an artist, if you're like, "Oh, I saw this great band the other night. This is what they were called." That goes so far. And so, for everybody who's ever said a good, positive thing about me, thank you so much. For anyone who said anything negative about me, thank you so much, because hopefully that makes people intrigued to come and hear me for themselves and change their mind. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And let's just talk about as well. If you watch it on YouTube, you should do because you get to see all these great graphics we bring you, and you should be able to see what that on the official Darnell Cole's official website. You can see all the dates where he is going to be performing. Starts, of course, the 6th of the 7th, 6th and 7th, and it goes all the way until I believe the 20. Let me go back on the main screen. 26th of the 8th. So it goes from I believe July to end of August.
yeah, so our first date I want to say is at the Born Music Club in hold on, I can pull this up. Let me check my diary real quick. As they say across the pond, my diary. Um the 21st of June will be at the Born Music Club. This is the first date. And then the 21st of July it will be at the Maidstone Festival. And then we go to Ireland for a little bit and we'll be there through the 20th. So it's a little over 2 months, man, give or take. So, but I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and of course, it's the you're bringing your whole crew with you as well. Soul, Funkin' Wicked Tour. Great name for the tour, by the way.
Thank you. So not the Soul Funk and Wicked one though. That was last year's. This
Yeah,
one
yeah,
is the
yeah.
Life on the Run tour.
But
Yes.
even so, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're both very good names. Like, how do you come up with the names for them?
Honestly, that's the hardest part. So with last year's tour, the Soul Funk and Wicked tour, um, I was trying to figure out. I always try to think of what's the theme, what's the vibe with not just the music, but with what I've got going on at the time, and ways that I'm trying to connect with an audience. And last year was the first tour that I booked as me, like ahead of time, all the dates, right? So my first solo tour was in 22. Um, and that was off the back of when Porcelain Hill split. So that one was just we just kind of did it. I was on my own tour because I was on my own.
Yeah, yeah. One
And then
man
in
show.
23, oh dude, yeah. I mean, I had some musicians with me, definitely. Shout out to all the Brits that I've played with. Jimmy Milne, Richard Hunter, Callum Houghton, Westbrook. Those guys are phenomenal musicians. Hopefully, you guys know them. Tyro, Ali, um, but Charlie Mutz as well. Um, okay, I think that's all of them.
No
But
worries, no worries. You can give us many
but
plugs as you like.
but 2023, that was a big tour for me. It was like, hey, I'm booking these dates as Darnell calling the vibe, not coming off the back of anything. I want to see how successful it can be. And for me, it I knew the music was more soulful and I knew it was more funky. And it felt just wicked to do it. And I was like, soul funky wicked. Soul funkin' wicked. I was like, yes. Because I'm a sucker for puns, you know? And so I was like, I think that's gonna be a good name. And we went with that. And with this one, I'm just trying to keep it going. I'm trying to keep the fight alive and new music. I tell everyone that I have a new album out, they're like, "You have another new album? Didn't you just release one?" And I'm like, I write music. It has to come out and go
Yeah.
somewhere. And it feels like I'm on the run, like I'm chasing this goal, and I'm also on the run from complacency and from my lesser self who wants to take over. I think in all of us we can all relate to that, where when we're trying to be better and do better, oftentimes it feels like our lesser natures and the parts of us that want to hold us back, and when people say, oh, you get in your own way, I feel like I'm on the run from those things. And this new album, it's a concept album. It's very much it's not extremely narrative driven per se. It's a little more thematic than narrative, but it does tell a story. It has a flow and they're all connected. It's very much meant to be listened to in the order that it comes out. And when you digest it, hopefully you people will take it in and feel that connection and be like, oh yeah, I can get that. I can understand this metamorphosis, because it's kind of what this album's about without giving too much away. It's like that. And so the lead song on it, the one that drops on the 10th this Friday, Life on the Run, I was like, I think that's just a good staple for this era right now. This tour, this album, like that's what it is, man. It feels like we're on the run. Even as the world right now, there's wars going on, climate change, all kind of prices are high for everything. It's like we're always running. We're living, town to town, and so I'm hoping it'll resonate with people and they'll get it. And if they don't, hey, that's okay. The ones that do, I'm glad they do.
And respect to them as well. To the ones who can and who does get the gist of the message you're giving through that track and through the album when it releases as well. But on the back onto the actual fact of your tour, I have actually now found the correct information. Very well on YouTube. You can now see him, of course, on Friday the 12th of June, as you said, and also on the 12th of July in good old Newcastle as well. You can still
That's
get
right.
tickets there as well. If you don't see a date there, then you should get in contact with Darnell's team to get a date requested for a future tour or a future event to see Darnell coming to your town or city.
Coming too fast. Let me know. I got a couple days open still. I always put TBA, more dates, because historically speaking, every time I've gone over, I always book one or two more shows while I'm on the road. And I kind of like that. It kind of keeps things on their toes. Keeps people looking and listening for when I'm coming because you may not know when I'm coming to you, but you'll know when I'm there.
Yes, yes, exactly. I like that. So on the subject of your new single, which comes out this Friday, the 10th
Yes, sir.
of May, 2024, um, how will this, how this track be different from other tracks and other releases you've released in the past?
Well, it doesn't have a guitar solo. It's one of the ways. I get criticized for that some of the time, which is funny. Being in a blues rock genre,
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, "Oh, some people mention like every song has a solo," and I'm like, "Yeah, I like doing solos, but this one doesn't. This is actually the one that doesn't." Um, but no,
uh,
it's this one. It has a bridge. I think I would say the biggest difference from this song is I feel like it's a good balance of all things that kind of go into music making, especially in the modern era. I think when you make a song or when you look at art in general, a lot of times there's the message that you're trying to convey, there's the musicality of it, if we're speaking music, and then there's the other things like is it commercial, is it not, how's it's mixed, all these things that matter, and I think it's a really good balance of all of it. A lot of times I write music, I write music for me. I have to enjoy it. If I don't like the song, I'm not putting it out. And this is a song that I enjoy, but I really feel others will enjoy, and I actually feel it's a little more commercial unintentionally, and I think that kind of gives it its a little spark, in one way or another. So I guess that would be the biggest difference.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And I can't wait to see what the feedback is to your song on Friday. I hope it's all going to be positive and people will like it. And it's interesting you mentioned about how you get a lot of criticism for for the guitars and whatnot in some of your previous songs. So I'm glad that people will have the change for once, I guess, then in their words and don't have to hear anything about guitar solos or anything like that. But I mean, as the year goes on as well, are you hoping to gather pace? Because obviously, there's a new track and a new album, which you get probably be able to perform at these great festivals you'll be heading to, and all of this. But when you head back home, what's going to be it for the American fans of yours?
I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna sleep. No, when I get back home, after because whenever you tour, you do need some time to
You
decompress.
do,
So it'll probably take
yes.
about 2 weeks for that. But then I'm gonna try and see if we can get a small US run going, or at least a couple of key cities that I know we need to hit. I want to keep that momentum going. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Um, but I'm in an era, and with this album completed, I think I have enough. Enough is such a weird word. I think I have a good amount of catalog that I can kind of let it marinate for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I am already thinking of another album, even though this one's done. I've got songs in on the noggin in the back burner. Got a concept for it. But one thing that I need to do as an artist that I think, at least that I think I need to, is I need to let stuff marinate because I don't do that a lot. I write something and then I go, okay, it's good, and then I've got to get something else out. I'm always like, I got to get more and more and more. And sometimes it's like you got to sit and enjoy the things that are there. You got to just enjoy where you're at. And I think that speaks to, me and I presume others, with the day to day life. We're always trying to do better and to do more. And I think sometimes we're so motivated by those aspirations that we forget to enjoy the rewards of the hard work we've already put in. I like to think I work hard for what I do and for where I'm at. And one thing I have a hard time doing is enjoying the fruits of that labor because I feel like, oh, if I'm enjoying it, if I'm being relaxed, I'm slacking. I feel like I'm not doing something I should be, or I'm being unproductive. But the truth is sometimes that's what you need to recharge your batteries so that you can hit it hard when you get back into it, so that you can be motivated. Burnout happens so much in this career and in the field of the arts because we constantly seek this validation or this some sort of like uh, not even just validation, but there's another word that eludes me right now, but some sort of like praise or something from someone that we don't even know who they are and what it is, and and even then once we get it, it's like, okay, well, what's next? I got to do more, and it's like,
Yeah.
how about you just enjoy this reward for now and just sit with it and really appreciate it, like life passes us by, and I think as much as it's bad being wrapped up in someone else's work, and like if you work a 9 to 5, for instance, like I have a side job too, and you know, when you're doing that, that's for others, right? That's for your boss, that's for the company, whatever. And if you're wrapped up in that so much that you lose yourself, I think that's the same thing can happen in the field of the arts where we can be so wrapped up in the content, in the product, in the music that we're making that we're not taking time to enjoy what we've made, that we're not taking time to appreciate the art that we're creating, and even the art around us. A lot of musicians, me myself, and I'm big guilty of it. I don't support other artists enough, right? I listen to a lot of people, I share people. There's a lot of up and coming artists who I really do appreciate. Lightning Threads, they're a UK based artist. Everybody needs to check them out. These Wicked Rivers, Hearts and Souls, Tom Kilner, Ramblin' Preachers, like the list goes. Howling Tides. These are bands that are pushing really hard and doing good, wonderful things. McHale's Permanent Brew. Some of your fans may have heard of some of these names, and if they haven't, they got to check them out. But even with the amount that I push and I do try, I know I could do more. There's days I'm like, I could put them on a playlist and just spin it,
Yeah.
but I get caught up in what am I going to do? And I make it about me. And, but that's the thing. We're human, right? So we have to give ourselves grace.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you on all those points you've made. Speaking of the song on the 10th of May, where can people buy it or listen to it, whatever else, to support you? Where can they go to?
Anywhere and everywhere. If you are a Spotify person, stream it on Spotify. If you want to listen to it on Apple Music, iTunes, it's on there. It'll be on YouTube. Yeah, you name it, it'll be there. Deezer, Tidal, all the stuff.
Yes, on all major platforms, just like this show, on all your favorite podcast sites as well. So, then let's talk about the video. You mentioned YouTube as well. Was it quite easy to do the video for YouTube, or was it quite hard?
So it was pretty well, several things. So for when it releases on YouTube, it'll probably just be the song. So it was very easy.
Yes.
But for video, I am working on one. I want to do it right because again, with it being a concept album, every video is going to be connected, and so it's
Yeah.
almost going to be a movie. And I haven't decided if I want to release it one at a time or all at once.
Okay.
And that's honestly going to be one of the bigger focuses, I think, when we get back. Because we only have like the tip of the iceberg on it started or done anyway. And I'm like, if I wait till we get back and that becomes the focus, then come January, maybe sooner, because I try to be on it. But worst case, hopefully come January, we can have this production that we can, put out there and say, look at this. This is goes with the music, and it's this visual that really brings it all together. I wanted to really have it together all at once so I could do a big drop and a big
Okay.
explosion. But I think I've just a little too much to chew for me. Times are hard, and
Well,
things are expensive.
Well, that is a great teaser then. So by January, mark your words, you should have something out there for the masses in January of 2025. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about we add something to that? I challenge you then to come back onto this show in January of 2025 with this finished product. How about that?
Let's do it. I like it. I like the
Okay.
sound of that.
Okay, well, he's now said on right here on the air that he will come back on this show in January 2025. Now, I don't have a good track record of that's what people come back on the show after they made a live comment like that. So hopefully you'll be the first to be a man of your word.
Look, I'm very much a man of my word. I have it. There's a saying me and my brother used to say, and it's called "sci-bi." Speak about it, be about it,
I like
and
that.
that's how we are, man. So
Yes.
yeah,
Well, we're going to lock it in and we're going to bring you back on the show in January of 2025. I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, though, when you are coming up for new music ideas or new video ideas and whatever else you may be doing in your creative mind, do they just come at you anywhere where you are, or is there a particular place you have to go to get your creativity on?
I definitely got to be on the loo. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. No, it's different. It varies. There's different songs come from different moods, right? And there's a difference between like a conceptual album. It was interesting actually. I was talking to one of my good mates, Tito, from this band Buddha Jones and the Man. Again, it's another band y'all got to check out. They're an American band. I do play guitar with them from time to time, so it's a little biased, but check them out, Buddha Jones and the Man. Their album drops tomorrow, actually. Ofrendas, give me some good stuff.
Nice drop, like it.
Shameless plug. Um, but no, when there's a difference between singles and an album that is made up of singles versus an album that was made to be an album. And I think that when you approach songs and albums and works, when you approach your works of art from those places, the music comes from different places. My Man of Soul album, which is out, that one was very much a compilation of singles. And the songs kind of just came out. Some of them I had to really grind out and work, but some of them were very just they just out of nowhere. Take Me by the Hand was a song we wrote in 5-10 minutes.
Wow.
I had the hook, and I went into the studio, and me and Jeet the drummer we started playing, and Mark DeSisto from Studio LA, he was the producer on that. He was like, "Hey man," he's like, "Cool, let's do the words, let's do the vocals, get them." I was like, "Hold on, I gotta write them." Like listening to the music and I'm just writing it out, and I was like, "Dude, this it just happened." Um, for this album, Life on the Run, with the single's the same name as the album.
Yes, why
Um,
not?
keep it easy.
Yeah.
Uh, I very much started that with I have this idea for a concept album. So every song that I was writing, every song that was coming out was kind of aimed in a general direction of that. And it started off, I don't know if it was going to be narrative, I don't know if it's going to be thematic, but it's going to intertwine, and it's a little of both. Um and I think there were some songs that needed grind. Like there's one song that's on the cutting room floor. Couldn't make the album. We worked with it. We tried different vocals. It wasn't a work. But then there's some songs that were just Life on the Run, for instance, the lead track, just right out the gate. That was another one. 5-10 minutes. We started it and we cut the original that song. We cut in one day. And we
Wow.
almost were like, that's gonna be the one for the album, but we knew we could produce it a little better. So we did it, but yeah, there's a song on there, "Smoke and Fire," which I'm thinking might be the second single. So for those listening, there's a little sneak peek.
Bit of a teaser.
That
I
one,
like it.
got to. I keep coming back, man. It started off in one direction, and then I kid you not, I was sleeping and I woke up at like 3 a.m. Right, and I had the change in my head, and I was like, I gotta record this. I gotta do something. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's a music thing." And she's like, "Okay, go do this." She's used to it by now, and I got my little voice recorder
Yeah.
out, and I did the groove that I
Oh
needed and
my
all that,
word.
and then we went to the studio the next day, and I said, "Hey, I know we've been practicing the song this way, but we got to try it like this." And like take one was like, that's the one. We just boom. So
Wow.
yeah. So it varies.
Yeah.
Sorry, very long-winded answers. I
No, you're
apologize.
fine. You're fine.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
like it.
they vary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like the story behind it, but the only time I was about 3 o'clock in the morning is either to go to the bathroom or it's because I had somebody's telephone ringtone stuck in my head. I couldn't get out of my head. It came to my dream, and then I had to wake up in the end. So at the same time, you see me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't get no creative ideas at 3 o'clock in the morning, however. But maybe now and then I might do a little bit of an email or somebody. I've actually one time I did sleep text somebody. Can you believe that? So I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I've done it. Only once though.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I feel like I probably have, but it was probably just gibberish because I just
Yes,
rolled
it
over onto
was.
my phone.
Yes, it was like me. The message I sent was complete gibberish. Had made no sense at all to the person I sent it to. Luckily, that person did not see the message. I was able to delete it after I woke up in the morning because I didn't even remember even sending it.
Oh man, yes. Technology is such a weird thing, you know. It's there's been a lot of talk of social media, right? Especially with this whole TikTok takedown thing here in the US or whatever. And for me as an artist, it's been so weird. It's been so I see both sides of it so much, because the ability that we have to communicate with people from 8 miles, states, countries away at the blink of an eye, sending videos. We're streaming live right now,
Yes.
from two different parts of the world. Like that boggles my mind. And like at the same time, you can accidentally elbow something and now you're sending happy faces and a picture of your dog to someone else. Like, the whole thing is just it's absurd and in such a beautiful way.
Yes, yes, and even not just that, but even you can do a lot of with AI nowadays as well. So it's even
Oh
more
yes.
scarier.
I think a little. I think AI is another tool that's just been created, and any tool, there's two sides to it. America, for instance, we're big on guns here, and I've always felt that the more that you can do with the tool, positive or negative, the more responsibility is required, the more the more care has to get put into it. And problems arise when you don't, right? If you have a hammer, that's not a problem. That's not a big deal. You can use it to build a house, you can use it to crack somebody's head open, whatever. Um, but the level of careful you have to be is low. If you have a power washer or like a pressurized nail gun or something, like all of a sudden you might want to know how to use that. You go end up nailing your foot to the floor or something. Um, so I think AI is no different. I think AI, there's it's on the one hand, it speaks to our not necessarily conquest to be distant from each other, but our direction that we're heading in of being more and more separated and more less human. Um, but I also think that there's some of the ways people are using it, some of the technologies they're coming up with, they did a thing, where it uses AI and you put on like this exoskeleton and it helps you walk. And it's helping people who are elderly or maybe they have some sort of, predisposed condition where, they can't walk well. And it's helping them walk and hike for long ways. Like that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I think the fear of AI, when people fear tools, a lot of times it's because they've experienced only the negative or enough of the negative that they're like, well, it's all bad. And it's like, no, I think that you close yourself off to the possibilities of the positive that these tools can help make happen. But I do think again that we have to proceed responsibly and with caution. I don't think it should be as wanton or as profit driven as it definitely is. But that's people. That's why I do music. That's why the music that I do is what it is, because my hope, my truthful hope is to bring people together and to share this consciousness and experience of life through the perspective that we're all in it together, so we got to look out for one another. And I don't know if it's growing up here in the States, I don't know if it's seeing the amount of life I have, um but I think that we're too easily divided, we're too easily swayed to believe that that person over there that I don't know or that I don't understand is so different from me, and they're evil, or they're not human. Or we dehumanize each other. And one thing I've learned from travel, because I'm telling you, I've been to the most liberal of areas, the most conservative of areas. I've been to all kinds of countries, and we're all the same. Sky's the sky where you go. People want to eat, people want to love, people want to hear good music. And I've seen people from different walks of life in the same room singing a song back to me, just embraced arm in arm. People who in a different context would be yelling and screaming at each other, or fighting. So I do think music can save the world. I think it has to be the right music, and that's what I'm on a mission to do, man. At least I'm trying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as an outsider looking into your world as well, I can see that. I can see that people are connecting with you, and I feel like as well. I say it a lot on my show, to my guests, that because I feel like you're able to connect personally with people as well when they reach out to you, or you're able to respond most of the time when you have time to do so with your fans and help them to feel good about themselves, and with those personal connections, it makes them more personal and want to come back to see you when you're live or when you've got something new to come out. So it's great to see it, and I hope you can keep that up.
No, I appreciate it, man. I try. It's symbiotic. I say it at shows, as much as I can. It's not about me up there on the stage and you there in the audience. It's not, fans. It's we're in this together. I
Yeah,
am the one performing, but you guys are the ones that are being entertained, hopefully,
yeah,
if I'm doing
yes.
my job right. And and that energy, it ebbs and it flows, and we give and receive it, and together we're able to transport into that place
Mm,
where we're not stressing, where we're not worried about the latest XYZ. We're just there existing as humans in a place, enjoying each other's company. And why can't we do that every day?
absolutely. I completely agree with you there. And, you mentioned about, well, I mentioned about how, being able to connect with a person on a personal level. I didn't really take it into account, but when you're performing in front of a large group of people, it's very hard to pinpoint certain people and to connect with them. While on a smaller scale shows, you are able to communicate with each person more individually than on these bigger scale shows. Do you ever find that when you are performing, or do you prefer smaller ones, or do you prefer the bigger venues?
It's tough. I like both for different things. I think you're absolutely correct. When it's a bigger stage, it's really hard to pinpoint individuals, right? But in the same breath, it's almost easier to pull people out of their shell, because they can be wild in the crowd because they're in that it's almost anonymous, right? Like when it's a smaller venue, it is a group of individuals, right? And so though you can pinpoint people and connect with them more easily in that sense, it's kind of harder for them to shed their individual self and be a part of that moment, because they're in a group of individuals and people can see them and notice them, and the spotlight it's reciprocal, versus when it's a big crowd. Oh, no one's gonna notice me. I can be crazy. I can surf on the crowd. I can take my shirt off, and whatever it is people do in a big crowd. um and when that happens, um you know you can almost help people be like, lean into that and be like, yeah, be wild, be yourself, be free, enjoy who you are. I mean, hold it together, don't be a knobhead and just run around and like start smacking people or whatever. But uh definitely, don't be afraid to let loose a little bit, and you can see that in the crowd. So I like both for different reasons. I like the big crowds because, I mean, the production is nice and there's a lot of people that are going to hear you and experience it. And I think for them, you get to help them come alive more.
Yeah.
But I like the intimate venues because I think it helps us as artists come alive more, because we do get that connection. And I do think it's something deeper. But I think that we get the gratification from the smaller shows, and I think the people get the bigger gratification from the bigger ones. I think I could be wrong, but that's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel.
No, that's your opinion, and your opinion is very welcome here on this show. I'm not going to disagree on that because I'm not a performer, so I don't know. So I'll leave it up to the professionals like yourself and other people to debate that in the comment section below here on this video, or if you're listening to this on your podcast sites, and use the hashtag #TheEF to join the conversation.
The EF show.
Yes. I like that. No, I like that before. Two more things before we wrap this up. Number one is who would like to collaborate with either this year or in the coming months that you've never collaborated with before?
If I'm 100% honest, Derek Trucks for sure. If there was any way that the Tedeschi Trucks band, or Rival Sons, that's pretty on par. I think that would be just mind blowing. But if that was unable for whatever reason, because they're superstars, I think still superstar, but not as much yet, but well on their way. Well on their way would be Marcus King. Marcus King is, I'm sure you've heard of him. If you haven't, check him out. He's out of, I want to say Georgia, or Nashville, that southern area.
Gotcha.
And he's a fellow Orange artist. We're both on the Orange Amp roster, and he's doing big things. He's done stuff with Greta Van Fleet and Tedeschi Trucks. But I would love to just, like, I don't know, that'd be cool to jam or collab in some sort of way. I think that'd be great.
Oh, absolutely, and great answers. And I'm sure, as you say, never say never. You never know.
Never say never.
It may happen. It'll be on your bucket list. That's why you got one. So when it happens, you're gonna tick it off. So I'm sure it will happen sooner or sooner than that. So I can't wait to see when it happens for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. I'm gonna manifest it.
There we go. It's gonna happen. Because I Peter Fool.
That's right. That's right.
As somebody else says on that one, if you have a copyright there. Before we let you go, by the way, we've been showing your social media on the show on YouTube, and you can find my guest on your social media right now on Facebook, Darnell Cole, on X, Darnell Cole ROX, and also on Instagram, Darnell Cole Music. Now, I know you're more active on Facebook and Instagram, so you need to get back into the X a bit more often, don't you?
Yes. Thank you. I need someone to hold me accountable. So keep on that. Keep on me, because I'll do it. I will. Yes. I'll get on there more.
Yeah, there's just so many different platforms to try and keep active on nowadays. There's just so many, isn't there?
There's a ton, and they all interact differently. And what's interesting is I do feel the fan base I have on X is actually, like, really, they're really about it. Strangely enough, like, I'm more active on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but I have noticed that, like, when I post something on X, or if I interact with someone on X, I do think it's a little better received. So I probably will start leaning into that a little. Just, see what happens.
I wish my ex was like that, because I get loads of random bots following me, or they like my stuff.
Yeah, that's social media.
I have to go through and block them all, because they're just fake. It's all these women, all these fake women, all these naked women, and it's just ridiculous.
You mean you don't have hundreds of naked women just messaging you for your good looks and banter?
Luckily for me, I turned all that off. So I did that ages ago. But yeah, it's funny because they started on Instagram, then I got Instagram under control, and now they're appearing on X. So once you get with all them on X, that should be fine.
You're just that intoxicating. They just want to meet you. About singles now.
I know. It's so annoying. But before you came on the show today, did you do any research?
I did. Okay. I do whenever someone's like, hey, let's chat, I do try to look and see what they're about, see where they're big at, and see their followers, and see how they like to do interviews. But I also like to be surprised. It's funny, my wife's like, what are you guys going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. I'm an open book. That's the thing. Like, I pride myself on being authentic, as
Yes.
authentic as I can be. And so I feel the more staged or pre-planning goes into something, more it can be disingenuous. Not that it will be, but it can be. Um, and so, but I liked what I saw. I think you run great interviews. I think, you've got a good presence. I think it's very professionally done. I like the city life background you have going on behind you. All the stuff.
Yes, from
No, it's
Suffolk
cool,
Keys.
man. Yeah, yeah, So I think you gotta, keep it up. And I think, I would be surprised if you did not grow more as you continue, because it's a good program. You're a cool dude, man. This was really fun. So
Thank you,
I
thank you.
keep doing what you're doing, man.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and that's exactly why I do it. But for that reason, for unscripted, and this is definitely not going to be edited that type thing either. But it's because of the fact it shows the real person, doesn't it, in a real situation, thinking on the spot. And that's something I like. Maybe that's because I like to see what happens on the spot, like live TV, for instance. But yeah, I feel like when it's more pre-taped and or pre-prepared, it gets a bit boring because I will ask you a question, you may give an answer, then I answer the next question. There's nobody banter or any backs and forward or going off from on something completely different from what we're meant to talk about. So yeah, that's the reason behind it, and I'm like what you saw, and hopefully I've lived up to your expectations this evening or this afternoon.
Exceeded them. Exceeded them.
Oh good, oh good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. But by the way, today I actually have now launched my own merch store. So
Yes.
so is that something you may want to go into more and more as well when you keep growing your brand out there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, so I always say I and we. I bounced before because now the vibe is a little more set versus like the vibe was ever changing. But it's I have two members now that are fairly it, so I'd say we a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're fine.
But yeah, no, I mean, I got shirts, got CDs. I'm gonna have vinyl. So all my
Very
UK fans,
nice.
I am coming with vinyl this time. So I know that, the electricity bills are high right now, but just save a little bit because I'm coming with vinyl. Um, but it's one of those things where I would love to grow an online store bigger and better. I think that would be a nice thing. I think for me, strangely enough, not coming up with the ideas for merch as far as like designs and all stuff.
Yeah.
That part's fun. I actually enjoy that.
Oh, right, okay.
And yeah, it helps me get my because I wanted to draw when I was little and I'm just rubbish at drawing.
Yeah.
But like putting shirts together and design, like I'm okay. I like to think all the artwork you see for anything Darnell Cole related, any of the old Porcelain Hill stuff, that's all me. So I do have my hand in that world, but um I think the thing for me is like keeping up with it is a little hard, and then having stock, because there's places that'll drop ship for the
Yeah.
for those listening. If you're just getting into, if you also are an entrepreneur type and you have a store, drop shipping is where they keep the product and they take a percentage. So there's people that'll do that, and I don't mind that, but a lot of times the design elements or how you get it to them, it's not as good as on Teespring and stuff. I've seen it. It's cool, but like it's very basic. And a lot of the designs I come up with are a little more intricate. So that's where it gets difficult. I've talked with my wife and she's on board to kind of help. I could do a thing where, we have like a small amounts, small batches kind of ready, and I could put them up on the store, and then like every Saturday I could just ship, and then adjust for shipping costs and all that. But
Mhm.
then it just adds more to the plate, and there's a lot on the plate. There's a lot on the plate right now. So, but at the same time, this is the life I've chosen, and I want this. So we'll see. So long story short, you might see more from me in an online store sense.
There we go. There we go. I like it. I like it. And the final question here today on this show, on this glorious Monday, is who would you suggest to come on this show to follow you, Darnell Cole?
That is such a tough one. Okay. Any of the bands that I've mentioned,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, Uh, no, I think if I was to narrow it down, I will narrow it down. I'll narrow it down to three.
Okay.
I'll narrow it down to three. It's the best I can do. Firstly, I gotta narrow it down to Buddha Jones and the Man, at least their lead singer Tito, because he needs to get out there. He's doing good at it, but he can do better, and I'd tell him that to his face. So, and he needs the exposure out there. He's another American lad. Well, he's Puerto Rican, but he lives in America. And, anyway, um, the music is good. The music is great, and I think that this would be a good program for him. And I think it'd be cool because then you can hear his tunes. I think if you got Tom Kilner, either the full band or Tom himself in here, I
Yeah.
think that'd be great. Like I said,
Tom Kilner. Yep, I've had him on the show. Yep, yep, he's been here.
okay, cool. All right, well, yeah, then don't. He's already been here, so he don't need to do it. So I'm joking, Tom, if you watch it, mostly. No, he's great. I love him and his band. Like they really helped me out. The last times I've been over to UK, so I got a lot of love for Tom and his band. Like I said, Cal, Wes, Rich, Jimmy Milne, like those guys are just aces. Absolutely, really good people. Um, and then I would say Lightning Threads.
Lightning
Lightning
Threads.
Threads are this band that, they're coming up in that scene with those guys. Like I said, it's them and Ramblin' and all. But Lightning Threads, they're good lads. They support other artists. They're a guy. Yeah, he's always wearing my shirt, and I'm always trying to rep them. I rep the Lightning Thread shirt too, and I should have worn it today. That'd have been a smart thing. But I'm shouting them out a lot right now, so they're gonna be okay. Um, but yeah, I think either Tito from Buddha Jones and the Band or Lightning Threads, any of them, I think they'd be perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for the suggestions there, and of course, I'm glad that you and Tom Kilner have also been able to perform and meet up and whatnot as well, because he's got a great voice. He's got some great songs as well. So, and of course, shout out to all those great artists which you have teased and gave a plug to this evening, which much appreciated, and I'm sure they all appreciate that being on the best kept secret on the Edward Fowler show today or tonight as well. And I hope as well, because before we began today, I've been stuck at 237 subscribers. And of course, before we came on the air this evening, I had 238 subscribers. So thank you to whoever that was for subscribing. Much appreciated to them. And also as well, I must mention that there was also a like as well given before I even said anything. So thank you to that person who liked the video. Hopefully more of you will give the like and share the video around. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the content and enjoyed the conversation between me and Darnell. And if you got a future question which you want me to ask him, drop it, because as you said, as you heard here, he's going to be back on the show in January 2025 unless something major happens before then. Which we might be back on the show before that, but if nothing else major happens, then he's going to be back here in 2025 for that exclusive talk about the videos. So
Yes, yeah,
I'm looking forward to it now. You got to do it now.
yeah. I've said it. I got to be about it, man.
Yes.
So now I've got a mission. Got a mission to get those videos done.
Yes, you do. And if you enjoyed the content, I want to see more of my fantastic interviews, conversations, gossip, teasers, all that good stuff, then smash that subscribe button. It takes 10 seconds or less to do, because we've only got 238 subscribers. Let's get to 250 subscribers before the end of 2024. Hopefully we can beat that, obviously, before the end of this year. But
we'll beat 300. We're gonna go for 300.
There we go, 300 subscribers. I like it. Never had 300 subscribers before, so that'd be great. So, but yeah, until the next episode, which will be on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. UK time, with a great unknown person who said he's completely unknown and compared to my other great guests like yourself, for instance. And so this person is called Roberto Lavarini. He's going to be live here on the show, 7 o'clock Wednesday evening, talking all things about his theatre work. So it'll be something very different for this show. I can't wait for that. So until then, enjoy the rest of your morning, night, evening, or afternoon.